There's no major injuries to report. Hopefully, we should have Boston and Justin Pugh back after the bye week, which is encouraging moving in, getting ready for Kansas City. Again, great win last night, good home win. I thought the guys performed well, particularly down the stretch when we had to, particularly in that 2-minute drive with the offense. I thought they did a tremendous job, and the defense came up with 2 critical stops when we had to have them. So with that, I'll take your questions.
As you looked at the film of the game, anything jumped out at you that you didn't talk about last night?
Well, I think you see the overall picture, but then you start seeing certain players that jump out, and Marcus Golden played an outstanding game on the defensive side of the ball. Buda Baker played well, on the offensive side of the ball, of course, we talked about Larry last night and Christian and Josh down the stretch. So those are the things that stood out.
Is there anything with Josh that you can do over a bye week that you weren't normally going to do on a week-to-week basis with him in terms of him learning things or him being able to take a step forward? Does the bye week give you anything extra there, or is it just a matter?
I think it gives you more reps, and that's the critical thing. He just needs reps, continue different looks, and really going against our defense, because we're not going to be, trying to practice early for KC. So Cardinals is what we call it, and I think that's going to be good for him.
How about in terms of whatever tweaks Byron's going to have? Will this extra time give some time for him to decide what those are?
Well, I think he's going to continue to try to be creative in his approach and really trying to put the guys in position to be successful, as we talked about. You saw some of the things last night. I'm very impressed with the screen game. That was something that we knew that we were going to have to stop against them, and I thought we did a tremendous job in trying to perfect that ourselves. So just trying to get guys in the right position, moving guys around, and making sure we utilize our personnel.
How would you assess Patrick Peterson's play last night?
I would say inconsistent. I thought he did some good things. When you give up a 55-yard touchdown, that's uncharacteristic of him and his play. So a little disappointed there, but he came back with a great PBU when they tried to go over the top with Goodwin. He came up with a big play for us there. So I'm sure he would tell you, if he hasn't already last night, would like to get that one play back.
What was your thinking of having him break down the team in the locker room?
Well, again, what was said and what was talked about last week is in the past. Patrick is a captain. He's a leader on this football team. And, again, I want him to have a voice, and that's what he wanted to do, and I gave him that opportunity. I don't want to say that that was the difference, because I know that's what you guys trying to, put me in, pigeonhole me to say, okay, all of a sudden now he went back to base, and that was the difference in the game. We did a good job. Again, we wanted to show them something different based off the first game, because we knew they were going to be practicing nickel, and I thought Buchanan did a tremendous job. He played physical, played downhill. Hassan did a good job as well. So it was a good look for us, good change-up, and hopefully we can continue to try to, mix in that package.
You played teams that are playing 21 personnel. That fits the fortress.
It does. It does, based off what they're trying to do, yes.
Does it make it more complicated with Trey coming back? He's obviously been playing well, and you want him on the field.
No, it doesn't. Again, we just got to make sure that we give these guys the right looks based off the personnel that we get in that particular week. Not getting ahead of ourselves, but, Kansas City showed a little bit of 21.
In special teams, Christian had a couple of fair catches inside the 10. I know the way punting has gotten, a lot of these guys are able to – they've gotten really good at being able to get the ball down inside that. Do you want him fair catching inside the 10? Is that kind of a shift in how people think about it? Would you rather have him let that go? How do you kind of –
I think it's a judgment call. And the one particular one that he did catch, I think was really almost like inside the 5. He had to really, based off Benet not allowing his guy to go free. We tried to teach him at the 15-yard line to let him go. And if that ball were to bounce, chances are it was going to hit Benet. So I thought he did a great job in his judgment call there and catching it.
You mentioned Marcus as looking good last night, but I think he was only in for about 2/3. Was that just trying to get more guys in on the line, or?
That's just really our routine. You know, if you look at anything that we do on the defensive side of the ball, we rotate up front, just trying to keep guys fresh. And I can't really recall the number of plays he had because we just went over it, but he was very productive in his performance there. I think it was 4 tackles, 1 for a loss, sack. He did a great job setting the edge. So he stood out last night in a big way.
There were a couple of one penalty for 12 in the huddle, and he almost had another one. Who's that behind, and how do you fix that?
It's on everybody, and I thought we did a great job of our communication, starting with Coach Garber on the sideline, talking to Byron and getting guys in and out. And the one thing you saw Josh Slate try to jump out of the huddle, where most of the time the quarterback's staying outside. So we always give yourself that opportunity where you never have 12 in there. And we got to do a much better job when we come on the field communicating who's in the game.
Marcus went across the line of scrimmage and made the play that was going away from him. Does that tell you something about him kind of getting his explosiveness and quickness back?
It does. Coach Holcomb and I were talking about that this morning. A lot of teams, for whatever reason, and we had the same thing last night with us, don't really block that backside defensive end. And you saw, the 49ers guy running some things down. That's why you got to have a good guy that can really close, and he did a tremendous job. I think he may have had 3 tackles doing that last night. So you can tell he's really getting his form back. That knee is starting to feel much better. So hopefully he can continue to progress in that area.
Go ahead, Bob.
For most of the game, you shut down what had been a really good rushing game. What were the factors when looking at the tape, you think, in that happened?
It's very simple, and I try to tell you guys this, but guys just doing their job. Guys standing in their gap, guys executing, playing with violent hands. The 2 times you saw them get out there on a big run, we had the 3 technique, all right, get reach. Really, he came underneath. And then the next time, the linebacker tried the back door, and you can't do that. And with that, you try to eliminate those 2 runs. They probably don't even have they don't have 100 yards rushing. So, again, it's technique and fundamentals.
You had TJ Logan as the kick returner yesterday. Is that something you're going to stick with, or is that a week-to-week thing?
Well, that's something that we want to try to stick with. Again, it's difficult each week based off who's going to be up with the 46. So I wanted to try to find a way to get him up this week, and we did, just for that mere reason, because I wanted a little bit more production on the kickoff return, and we didn't have an opportunity with all the touchbacks.
Kikuchi had the one big play where he batted on the pass and almost intercepted it. Overall, how do you think he played?
I think he played well, besides that one play I just talked about when he tried the back door and gave up a big run. But for the most part, he did some great things, and I was really hoping that he came up with that one. Got to work on his ball catching skills there.
Is that what you envisioned in David Johnson when you talk about getting him in space? Is that a small sampling yesterday?
It was, and again, I think Byron had a good game plan for all those guys and really trying to slow that line down. And you saw David do some good things in the screen game, and that helps us out overall as an offense.
Josh mentioned last night that game-winning touchdown to Christian had been similar to a play earlier with Ricky that he had missed. What do you think it says about him that he can make those corrections within a game and be successful later on?
It says a lot about him. Number one, his confidence, his ability to hit the reset button. Nothing really phases this guy in a negative way. He takes everything and he tries to learn from it. Byron tries to get a hold of him quickly as he comes off the field to try to talk about the correction. So this experience last night, particularly that 2-minute drive, I think is going to help his growth.
So he's making corrections on the sideline right away?
All the time. All the time.
How do you know that not much phases him, if anything, before you got him? Or does that mean that came up with that?
No, I mean, we knew his demeanor and his confidence, but not until he got here and started going through certain situations, you started learning a little bit more about the person.
You experienced the Larry phenomenon in the 4th quarter that a lot of fans have seen here, where they start chanting his name and he makes the big plays. What was that like for you to
It was great, because you can really feel the energy in the stadium last night. And, again, Larry is phenomenal. I thought Josh made some dynamic throws down the stretch, but also Larry came up with, some big catches. I think, Sherman was all over on that one. And that's who he is, first ballot Hall of Famer. So it was encouraging to see. And, again, he did something that he's never done before in that 2-point play, which just shows you the energy and the passion that he has for this game.
How do you build off an exciting win like this when now you have a bye week and then you face the Chiefs? How do you keep that going?
Well, number one, I just think the atmosphere, particularly in the team meeting just now, you can tell the vibe was different. So that alone right there is enough to build off of, coming off a win. And then just being able to go out here this week and, continue to emphasize and teach the fundamentals and technique and reteach some things that we probably touched on back in training camp. So it's going to be a good opportunity for us this week, and that's how we're going to do it.
Thanks.
Thanks.